One of the most eagerly anticipated sequels of the year, and it's only February. Although, I suppose this game was slated for the end of last year, but either due to the massive shadow of a certain franchise which I'm sick of talking about, and perhaps the fact that they wanted to take more time to make sure that the sequel to 2007's Game of the Year would live up to its predecessor. More likely Thurston though. So, we rejoin watery Art Deco world of Rapture, 10 years after original, with City now beginning to be reclaimed by its sea and its plant life. Rapture has now taken on an even more oppressive tone than original, with its icy shades of blue, punctuated by the echoing drips of leaky walls. The developer has definitely lost its ability to create a sense of atmosphere and foreboding. Unfortunately, this game don't have the same impact that Thurston did. Nothing really that different jumps out that you hadn't played before. In this game, you're supposed to be one of the original Big Daddies, known as Subject Delta, who despite being enhanced in the same way as other, retains his sense of free will, with your task to find the little sister to which you've been bonded, who's been kidnapped. With the first Big Daddy being one of the most fearsome and powerful enemies at first game, you would have hoped that the feeling of power would be transferred into this game, but alas, the game feels and plays much like the original. That's not necessarily a bad thing though. The original game wasn't Game of the Year for note. The storyline and voice acting is still as rich and as involving as ever, with the player constantly facing choices and moral dilemmas that will affect both the ease and outcome of the game. The combat from the first game has been refined, with the player now being able to wield both plasmids and weapons simultaneously, and the enemies are still as aggressive as ever. With battles always frantic and exciting, especially when you have a little sister who you can use to collect Adam from certain corpses. But when she does so, attracts a throng of splicers who rush to destroy you and take the Adam for themselves. These moments are best entered into with preparedness, setting your traps and filling up with first aid kits, Eve and ammo for the hectic violence that ensues. This strategy is also relevant when you encounter the game's new enemies, the Big Sister. Powerful, strong and psychotically aggressive like the Big Daddies, but also extremely fast and agile. These grown-up little sisters are tough nuts to crack. The shrieks that they make serve to make you nervous and aware that one is on its way, and only through planning out your strategy will you defeat these creatures. Thankfully, you can use their blind range against them, hiding behind walls and pillars as they frantically throw every power and item in room at you. Returning fire between volleys and ducking back into cover seems to be the best policy. Bioshock 2 now also comes with a multiplayer element, the standout point of which seems to be that it takes place in the Rapture of the past, with the look and feel of these areas reflecting the first game, a sign perhaps that more sequels, which are definitely on the way, could take place at any point during the game's history, perhaps even before the appearance of Jack in the first game. The multiplayer element, although looking pretty and having plenty to get your teeth into, has relatively few players allowed in each game compared to other titles, so I would see this as a welcome distraction to the single player rather than the longevity of the game. So, a worthy successor then? I'd say so, yeah. Even though the game is a refinement and continuation to original, it doesn't really break new ground in the same way the first game did, which is not a criticism of this excellent game. It's just a testament to how groundbreaking the original one was.